Yes. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Here we go. We're about to shut show in a second. We've got Trippy1976 on the show tonight from Pathtags.com, guys. You got a question? We got the guy from Pathtags.com. You got a question for Pathtags.com? You give us a call, 808-468-7924, 808-GOD-SWAG. He's here to answer your questions. I got questions. I got a ton of questions for him. And maybe, guys, maybe at the end of the show, we might have a code. Maybe. I'm not sure
Hopefully.
yet. Hopefully a code. So you
I
got a
need to
question?
order some more path tags. So
If you have to order path tags, Chad, now's the time to do it. Spoiler alert. Or soon anyway. Guys, 808-468-7924. You got a question for Trippy1976, the creator of the Pathtags.com, guys. This is him. You always had that question. You have a gripe, even a gripe. How about a gripe? A gripe would be fantastic.
No gripes.
I know people have gripes.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
All right, guys. So let's start the show. We got Mike from Pathtags on. Let's get him going. So here we go. Chad, you ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go, guys. Ready? Let's start. Audio has started. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
You wanna know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. But come on, take a chance now. So go, geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome, everyone. It is Wednesday. It is 8:30, which means that it is once again time for the Geocaching Podcast. My name is Scott Burks. We have Shorty Hits manning the phones. And please welcome to my virtual left, my co-host, Jazz427.
Howdy, y'all. Get your path tags ready.
That's right, Chad. Get those path tags ready, kids, because tonight's episode 576, recorded live on August 14th, 2019, is Let's Talk Path Tags. We've got Trippy1976 with us, one of the founders of it. Phone lines are open, guys, and I know you got calls. I know you got questions because I have questions. Phone lines are open. You have a question for him, give us a call, 808-468-7924. That is 808-GOT-SWAG. But, Chad, before that, we need to talk about Patreon, Chad.
Oh, yeah.
It costs a lot of money to make this podcast work. We really could use everybody's help to help us offset the costs. Another new cost was this StreamYard, what we're using. Again, boom, a cost, Chad, just like that. So we appreciate all of our current subscribers. That we love you guys. I just put another video up there. I put in I just edited the West Bend video. That's up there, coming out in a couple of weeks. The Geobash, the Geobash one go live yet? I think it did. But I know I got a snippet one coming up as well. I know one's coming up there. So, guys, thank you to our subscribers. Our new subscriber, hey, Chad, Tyrone Shoelaces.
Yeah. You know what? I've got Tyrone's path tag.
I have Tyrone's path tag. I
have Tyrone's path tag.
At West Bend, I saw Tyrone. First I saw him on the trail, and then I saw him when we were sitting around, and we actually chatted for a while. And then he came to my house. How about that, Chad? Has he been to your house?
He hasn't been to my house.
He's been to my house.
You need to get out to California, dude.
So Tyrone Shoelaces out of Solon, Ohio, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for becoming a patron. Mucho apreciado. Guys, if you want to become a patron of our show, get all the extra audio, all the extra video. Trust me, there is a ton on the other side. You want any of that, you hit us up, tier starting as low as $3. It is patreon.com/the geocaching podcast. That's patreon.com/the geocaching podcast.
All right. Tonight's show is brought to you by Cachly. Cachly is an advanced geocaching app for iOS that features powerful online and offline features, including filtered searches, offline maps, and offline saving of caches. Cachly has hundreds of advanced features that will make your geocaching experience just that much better. Get more information at cachly.com. That's CACHLY.com.
Chad, pick your mic up a little bit more to your mouth, please.
Hello.
Give it a little twist. There you go. Thank you. It's also sponsored by Logwork. Logwork are the creators of the fantastic Logbook, made with genuine write-in-the-rain paper. The Logbook's designed for the micro-containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who would rather go caching than do cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
It's also brought to you by FTF Geocacher Magazine. FTF Geocacher is the magazine for geocachers written by geocachers. With 6 issues a year, FTF offers practical advice, hints and tips, cacher bios and milestones, geocaching events, trail tales, and all things geo-related. Find them at ftfgeocacher.com. That's ftfgeocacher.com.
And by the Max Suds Body Company. Max Suds Body Company makes handmade bath and body products from all natural oils and butters. Items such as Poison Be Gone soap, itch spray, and 2-cent choices of bug spray, all great for outdoor enthusiasts like geocachers. Max Suds Body, we have you covered from head to toe. Find them at maxsudsbody.com. That's MACSDUDSBODY.com.
And by Practical Geocaching. Practical Geocaching sells utility items for geocaching. Our items are made in the USA, and we always provide free shipping. Find them at practicalgeocaching.com. That's PRACTICAL geocaching.com.
And finally, all of our August shows are sponsored by Art Ed Crafted. Art Ed Crafted creates unique geocaching themed tees and custom designs for you or your group. With adult sizes ranging from small to 5XL, if you have an idea for a shirt design and cannot find it, then you've come to the right place. Please give us an opportunity to show you how we can enhance your caching experience with your own custom design. Visit us at artedcrafted.com. That's ARTEDCRAFTED.com. And Chad, for the month of August, only what's left, a couple of weeks left in August, you can get your geocaching name added to any shirt they have for free by using the coupon code GCPC at checkout. That is the coupon code GCPC at checkout, and you get your name added to the shirt for free. That's a $5 savings right there, Chad.
Awesome.
5 bones right there for free. GCPC and checkout, kids. And as always, you can find links to our sponsors in all of our show notes. Good Lord. Hey, Chad. So we had West Bend last weekend. Had a really good time. It was a lot of fun going to the Mega, West Bend Mega. But on our way back, we saw a bunch of people at the Mega. Saw a lot of listeners. Hey, listeners, everybody we met, thank you so much for coming up to me and Jesse saying hello. Chad, so many people. And it's funny, what's funny how I told people to scream Shorty Nets. Remember I told them to scream Shorty Nets? They were screaming Scott Burks at the top of lungs, not Shorty Nets. So I got people screaming my name throughout the whole West Bend.
Anybody come to you say Chaz?
No, nobody said Chaz.
No.
But it was nice, man. I unfortunately I feel bad I didn't have any path tags because we only had a few left. I just ordered more with Mike. I ordered them last week. I didn't get them obviously here in time. So, but we gave away buttons, we gave away stickers, we gave away. What else we gave away, Jess? She's not even listening to me. She's taking phone calls.
I've been having locals come up to me at events and say Chaz. So that's always good. So they hear, know that the locals are also listening to the show.
Oh, good. That makes me happy. So anyway, so we did our porch. As you can imagine, we're only an hour and a half away from West Bend. Chad, our porch got hit a bunch of times from listeners. So our porch cast, guys, if you remember back in April, we had a whole show about our porch cache, the debate, me and Jesse debating whether or not we were going to have a porch cache. It turns out, yes, we did. We have it. It's GC840A3. And we had some listeners, Chad. So we have DT Charlie, Chad. Came in. He says, I came from Scranton. It's actually a female. I said he. I came from Scranton, Pennsylvania area for the mega event in West Bend. I had the good fortune to meet the CEOs there. We did. We actually inadvertently had dinner with DT Charlie. How weird is that? We had dinner with some friends who had friends there who were friends with DT Charlie. So inadvertently had dinner with a listener of the show. With Future Meet CEOs, I mentioned how the geocache was on my radar to get on my way home. They gave me a big hint on how to find it. Well, of course, I had to try it on my own first. I went to the coordinates and using their map, I was fortunate enough to make the find. However, having their hint is always nice as a backup. It was very nice meeting you and a fun letterbox puzzle to do. Traded a trackable. This one gets a favorite point. Now I must continue on my long journey home. That was her log. So thank you, DT Charlie, for stopping by the house. Unfortunately, we weren't home. We were at work. She came on Monday when we were at work. Again, Monday, right, Jess? Was it a Monday that she came? Right? You're on mute there, baby.
Thanks for the reminder.
There you go. Was that a Monday?
Yeah, that was Monday.
Next up, we got Tyrone Shoelaces, who just became a patron. Tyrone Shoelaces, thank you so much. Heading home from to Cleveland, Ohio, from this week's Cash Bash with Speedy City on a boat, G-Mark Music, and the Jester and Granny. It was an amazing weekend of caching and meeting new people. I thought the highlight of the trip was getting to chat with some of my favorite podcasting app personalities. I can't talk, but then to be able to find the cache on this porch too. I'm so glad On a Boat had added this to his wish list. I didn't think there would be enough time to look for this one, and there really wasn't. But when you're out of your home area, you just want to get them all. Isn't that true, though? Isn't
That's
that
the truth.
That is the truth.
Jessie loves that one more, man. She loves that. This was our last find of the day, and after a few stops for gas and snacks along the way, and getting others dropped off at their houses, I finally got back home at 3:30 a.m.
Wow.
Wow, an exhausting weekend, but totally worth it. Thanks for the cash. Love the podcast. Oh, thank you, Tyrone. Thank you for becoming a patron. Mucho appreciated. And we got On a Boat. One more. We got Ian here from On a Boat. Ian says, this was high on my to-do list for our West Bend bound trip from Cleveland, Ohio this weekend. We didn't have time on the drive up on Friday, so we decided to save it for the drive home on Sunday. Got a bit sidetracked over at GC93. That's Beverly, for anybody who doesn't know. Was that the third oldest, I think?
I thought that was
No.
Indiana's oldest.
GC93 is Indiana's first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then what's ours? 27?
Beverly is GC
28.
28.
Sorry.
Mhm.
Okay, so got a bit sidetracked over at GC93. Sorry, Indiana's oldest, and a few others. So it took quite a bit longer to get here, but the fun part was that the CO had plenty of time to get home from their adventures as well. Yes, we were home. Love the directions to the cache, but the stamp. Listen to this, Jess. But the stamp was probably the best. You know how you have to put a stamp in the. It's a letterbox, Shadu, and our.
What's your stamp?
What?
What's your stamp?
It's a stamp.
Yeah, what is it? What's the
It's
stamp
a-
of?
It's a stamp.
I think it might be an American flag, probably. And it
You-
probably
you
says
have
forever.
no idea what your stamp is?
It probably says forever.
Chad, it's literally a stamp.
It's a stamp,
Yeah.
a postage stamp.
Okay, so the forever stamp postage stamp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
He's
got
like-
you.
Because our guy was like, you have a stamp in there, right? I'm like, yeah, sure, there's a stamp in there.
I have one all picked out. I just haven't actually ordered it yet. I know what stamp I'm going to put in it.
So yeah, we put a stamp in there.
Awesome.
And it says "Do not take."
Yes,
Stamp,
not swag.
not swag.
Right.
That's all I got. I lost my place here. Okay, there you go. We swapped out a ton of trackables, chatted with the COs for a few minutes, and started our way home. Thanks for the fun and the great cash. Well, thank you, sir.
And he's in the chat room. And he says he did mean Beverly, GC 28, not 93.
Oh, that's
They got-
oh, he meant Beverly. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. See, that's what I figured. I figured why would they be worried about the Indiana one? I know they were going for Beverly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, okay. And you got an email. We got an email chat as well. So
Mm.
I got
There
mail!
you
Yay! I got mail! Yay!
this is from VSSJ, who actually remember last week they sent us an email chat about
Mhm.
the trackable. Was it a trackable situation?
Yep.
The trackable's getting snatched.
Yes. He said. They said thanks for answering my snatch trackable email on the show. I did give them the benefit of the doubt, but also sent them a message to tell them to hold off as the trackable was gypped of many miles. They said that I've got a doozy to share with you today. A cache published 15 miles from me, and I decided to go for it 2 hours later. Got to GC and hunted. Read the hint, duh, but I often try with no hint, and it said it wasn't in a tree. Okay then. Hunted and hunted some more. My spouse says, you didn't read the description. No, I was hustling the GC. The description said something about a basketball hoop. So I wandered 165 feet from ground zero to the basketball court and finally made the find. It's an empty vitamin water bottle tied to the bag of a bench leg.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
back. So it's empty vitamin water tied to the back of a bench leg was the catch. There was some swag in the bottle, but the bottle is tied to the bench and you can't get to the contents. That's awesome. Oh, rookies. I pulled out the Ziploc bag with the log and signed the FTF. Now, hopefully, the bag doesn't slip down into the bottle too far. It'll be hard to get to the bottle strapped to the bench. My spouse was ranting about the hide and how bad it was, so we decided to look at their profile. Get this, Chad, Premium member, joined 2 days ago, 0 fines, 1 hide.
Shock.
Premium member, Chad. They
I-
paid their $30, man.
I paid for a premium membership on day one, so the day that I got my first fine. So
Did you? Oh, I didn't.
I did.
No, I found about 10 or 20. I wanted to make sure I enjoyed it before I forked over my hard-earned cash.
Took me a year and a half.
And I paid for it.
Yes, he did.
But I didn't put out any caches until I had like something like 100 fines.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't put out any crap caches.
Just
I did put out caches with bad coordinates.
really.
165 feet bad.
But it's like transposing digits. That can easily happen. Sometimes that happens, but sometimes it's just someone whipping out their iPhone and capture the coordinates that show up on there instantaneously where the GPS hasn't settled down, and
Sure. Right.
they just got crap cords.
All right. I was nice.
At least he had a description.
Yes.
Hmm.
I was nice in my log, but wrote it in a way that fellow cachers will know this one is off. That's from VSSJ. Oh, that's an interesting one. I've never heard of one quite like that. So a vitamin bottle tied to the back of a bench. That's not going to survive very long.
No.
No. That's all I got, Chad. So, hey, Chad, we have got Trippy1976. Mike, how you doing, sir? On the show tonight.
I'm doing good. I learned a long time ago that I am not a cache hider. I got out of that business for reasons very similar to the ones that you just described.
Love not be a cash hider.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mike, before we get started with what you do in your company,
Yeah.
I was told that you are also one of the founders of the Midwest Geobash. Is that correct, sir?
I am. I started my geocaching life in Michigan, and what was interesting at the time is I assumed that I was, I think, 25 years old at the time, and I thought, I'm a computer nerd and I love the technology and I got a GPS and it's the coolest thing, and I'm going to have an event. And this is pre-Facebook and stuff, so you didn't have great ways of getting together with people at that stage in the game. So I'm gonna have an event and I'm gonna try and get everybody together, and maybe we can get a website going with a forum and stuff. And it was really a unique experience for me because that was my first encounter of other geocachers en masse. And one of the things you love about the event or the activity is the diversity of the people you meet. And
Sure.
I expected them all to be young computer nerds like me, and I got to meet so many diverse and interesting people, and I just totally fell in love with the activity. And so we started Michigan Geocaching, and then I had some friends in Ohio, and we were like, we don't actually cache together. It's like, it was a weird thing at the time, and I don't know if it still is in that area, but Michigan cachers tended to stay in Michigan, Ohio cachers tended to stay in Ohio, and they almost treated that state line like there was poison gas on the other side. And so we decided to have a camp out and invite some of our friends from Ohio and Michigan, and then we had some friends from Indiana get in the mix, and then Illinois joined on, and next thing you know, 500 people showed up at a state park to camp out for a weekend together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then we just had our 15th annual. So
Right. Very nice. Very
yeah.
nice. And have you been a part of it every year?
I have until this year. Last year I was kind of like a half part of it. I was just around for advice. In fact, on a boat, the guy you mentioned earlier, he's now on the planning committee, so he's taken over. I know you had him and JD on
Yeah, a couple weeks
recently.
ago.
Yeah, so they've taken apart Brian. Brian's interesting because he's the only person I know of whose geocaching nickname is intrinsically tied to the event. He's the grand potentate of Area 51, which is our bonfire area at the Geobash.
Right.
So he and a few others took over. Last year I gave some limited guidance, and then this year they had it fully in flight. So it was great this year. I got to show up and be an attendee. It was really cool.
Yeah, just got to play. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, great.
And that's where we met each other.
Me and you, yes, that's where.
Yeah.
Yes, that's absolutely where we met. So let's talk about Pathtags. But So you are so I'm sure this probably leads into how was Pathtags.com started? Obviously, let's start with the basics and why. What's the story
Right.
behind Pathtags.com?
So there's a little bit of a tie-in to Midwest Geobash. Rusty, who's the other half of Pathtags.com, we were sitting around the campfire there, and we said, "Man, these geocoins are pretty cool. We should start a club where people can sign up and get one every month with a different design, and they come to their house, kind of like a magazine, but for geocoins." And so we launched the Geocoin Club LLC. Pretty much right after that Midwest Geobash, and by the end of the year we were up and running, and we started that way, and then people started coming to us because we were making geocoins and asking if we could make them geocoins, and so we got into that a little bit with the Geocoin store. That was really entertaining in the early days because it was kind of like Beanie Babies. It was like a real big fad at the time.
What year was this?
This 2006,
Okay.
2007.
Okay.
You could make a geocoin of anything, and it would sell like 1,000 in a minute. And I'm not even exaggerating. We've seen that happen. In fact, that's what was happening. Is people would make geocoins and put them on traditional e-commerce sites, and before you knew it, they'd oversell by like 300 because people had to go to PayPal, pay, and come back before the orders were confirmed. Yeah. And by then they had oversold their inventory. So I'm a computer scientist by background. So I was like, I can write software that handles that. And I did. But what we started experiencing was so many people kept saying, "Hey, can you make me a personal geocoin?" And we would say, "Sure. It's, this much money." And they would go, "That's a lot of money."
Yeah, sure.
And so, and it is. It's a pretty sizable investment to have your own geocoin made. They're awesome. Don't get me wrong, and we're in that business, so we love them too. But after turning away so many people, we started talking and saying, there's got to be something we can offer that gives a lot of the same, benefits and aspects of a geocoin, but at a more affordable price point. And that's where we came up with the Pathtags idea. So they're about the size of a quarter, and you can customize the front. The backs we have a library of, so you don't have to pay for a setup fee on the back. And you get the benefits. They're metal, they're high quality, they're very colorful.
They're magnetic.
They're made of iron, so they are attracted to magnets, which was sort of a decision on price in the beginning, but it had that interesting side effect that you can mount them into displays and different things using magnets.
Right.
And even into geocoins, like this geocoin has a Pathtag in the middle.
Oh, that's cool.
Held in by a magnet, so you can take it out, and then you can put your own Pathtag in as a way of kind of personalizing them.
Look at that.
So it did have a lot of interesting side effects. That was, I think, luck more than genius. But we kept it that way, and then the reason there's a hole in all of them, right? There's a hole in all the traditional round ones is in our mind when we launched, we thought people would hang these on pegboards, and that would be the main way they would display them.
Sure.
Or keychains or things like that. So we had the hole in all of them, and got to the point where people were using the magnets, and we had to have the debate about whether we were going to keep the hole, and we just decided it's kind of our trademark. So
keep the hole. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't ever get rid of the hole.
Yeah.
No.
So.
No.
Yeah, so that's how it started and why. And then we launched in August of 2006, and I don't remember what our goal was. I really wanted to have 100 by December, and I think we blew way past that real fast. So we ended up with something on our hands that we hadn't quite expected for it to take off the way it did.
I bet.
Yeah.
Well, let's we got a call coming in, so let's take a call here. We have got from my hometown, Cody Dog. Hello, Cody. Hello, sir. Friend of the show. Cody, hello, sir.
Hello, how's it going?
Hello, sir. How are you? You got a question for Trippy here?
I actually have two questions. So, Trippy, first I was wondering, how do you keep and display your Pathtags that you collect?
Well, let me see if this will work. I don't know if you're on the YouTube, but I actually use the acrylic display boards. I'll get rid of the creepy doll.
Right.
But do you see them on the wall?
I am watching, so I can see. Yeah.
I've got them actually floor to ceiling there,
wow, look at that.
and
Wow.
Oh,
I really like those because they intrinsically match your wall and they're easy to hang. So I use those primarily, and then I have some lock and locks that I use to keep around just bulk miscellaneous. And then for my trades, I actually use this Stanley tool
Wow.
organizer. So I have a variety of mechanisms, and then that's one of my favorite things to see is when I go to events and stuff, the way people store them, and like a lot of the vendors at events, they make was the wooden nickel guys. I saw them recently. They make this really cool, like it looks like an ammo can, but it's got
like a wooden thing with a magnet. Yes.
yeah, it's got carved out spots all around the outside to put the tags in it with magnets, and then storage in the middle. So there's my favorite though. I love the wall display. When I trade online, so I get a sample of everyone. So that's one of the things we've been doing from the beginning is every tag that gets made, we have 3 samples done. One goes to Rusty, one goes to me, and one goes into a binder that we keep. So we actually have a storage unit with about, 50 binders full of Pathtags, all organized by tag ID.
So you don't even need to trade with anybody because you have everybody's already.
But I do because I feel like really it's really important for me to eat my own dog food. So if I'm not on the website using it and doing trades with people, I don't understand, what their experience is like and where I need to fix and make improvements. So I am one of the laziest guys in the world. So things like we have a feature on the website for creating mailing labels really easily because I got really tired really fast of writing out everybody's address,
Sure.
but at the same time it was like, I don't know if I can trust everybody to put it in exactly the right format. So I wrote a feature that allows you to just sort of highlight the text in the message and it will, create a mailing label for you. So there's stuff like that happens on the website because I use the website and I go, man, I don't have time for this. I don't think anyone else does either. So I built a feature to address it,
What about Cody? You have another question? You have one other question?
Yeah, my other question is that so Pathtags all about crossing paths with others.
Yeah.
Is geocachers your biggest group that purchases Pathtags, or is there another group that purchases bigger than geocachers?
Man, I wish I could find another group that would be as big as geocachers, but yeah, it's probably 95% geocachers. We had some uptake for a little while with the military guys. That was kind of nice, but I think it faded a little. And then, we've been doing a lot with state parks and stuff too. So there's in Texas, you can go to pretty much any state park, gift shop, and you can find the tags in there. But yeah, it's all geocaching centric, and we've tried to get into other niches, but this is our niche. So
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody.
yeah, thanks for calling.
All right, talk to you.
Bye. So, Mike, what about who else is involved? I know you're involved with Pathtags. Who else?
Yeah, so Rusty. So I keep calling Rusty. Rusty is his nickname is Rusty. A lot of guys in the Midwest may know him because he's been a volunteer cache reviewer for years and years and years. Co-founder of Michigan Geocaching with me. He and I got to be fast friends back then, and then we kind of fell into that business relationship with the Coin Club, and we've been going ever since. So it's primarily him and I. I take care of mostly like the website stuff and like the vendor relationship end of things, and he takes care of a lot more operations stuff. So he receives all the orders from the factories and packs them up and ships them out to customers and that kind of stuff. He does the customer support email address and things like that. Then we have we're kind of a family business, so we don't have any other real employees. Like my wife pitches in, his wife pitches in, his son pitches in. So we have a number of friends who've helped us over the years as well. So it's kind of a family affair really when you boil it all down.
Who thought of the pretty bags? I like the pretty bags.
That was a launch idea. We were like, they gotta have to have something to put it in, and we got those made up, and Um, Now they've changed a little over the year, but they're pretty much the same as they've always been. In fact, it's kind of funny at Midwest Geobash when I was there. Somebody came up to me and they gave me a Ziploc bag full of bags. They said, "I don't actually use these, so you guys can have these back." So there's quite a few of them out there floating around. Sometimes more than people want, but we give one with everything. The theory being, people need a way to store them and transport them easily.
Yeah, I repurpose mine. I use them for to hold some of my caching gear, like the log sheets and stuff like that. Put them in there and made a cache repair kit. Put have one, so I definitely reuse them.
All right. And I got a question. Here we go. First path tag ever.
So the first Pathag ever made.
Which one off the machine? What was it?
Well, it's funny. So first of all, someone made a comment to me recently, like, I'm surprised they were looking at a book we had that shows everybody's tags from the beginning. I think mine was like the 20th or 30th tag made, and they're like, I can't believe that. I'm like, it's what do they call it? The cobbler's kids, right? And never have good shoes. So I was so busy focusing on getting things going and making it good that I was like, man, I should probably order a Pathag. But the first one was done by Honey Chow, and it's called Catch the Buzz. It's actually tag 5016, and that's one of the things people always ask me is like, why isn't the first tag 1? And it's because I had actually, so first of all, we intended to start the numbering at 5,000, and that was a psychological thing. It was an intentional decision. We wanted people to think,
You're bigger than you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we weren't trying to overrepresent it because there was a gallery. You could still go look and see there was only so many tags. But yeah, we just wanted people to psychologically not feel like they were the first person to do this.
Right.
Even though, they were. And then, so what happens, I was testing the database and it increments sequentially, and I just forgot to reset it when we went live. And by the time I realized, it was too late. So, we have the first tag is 5016 instead of 5000 like it should have been. But that's, one of the funny stories from the beginning of the whole thing.
So is that the first? And is that one worth? Are they worth money? Is there any worth money? Is there any monetarily valued money?
Anything that's collectible, right? That people put
Right.
value on it. And that's one of the things we tried to work on early, and we just sort of realized that after a while we couldn't really address it too much. But one of the reasons we have different backsides and we cycle them out periodically is in an effort to help collectors sort of gauge the age of a tag. So like the very first tag back we had, it was pretty plain, and then we introduced another one that had a little more design to it, and then we evolved it from there. So some of these earlier tags, they've been reproduced by the owner because we don't control that, right? If they want to make an order and a reorder, that's their decision as the tag owner. But yeah, some people are really hot for these. The first 100 or so are called charter tags. They are quite high in demand. Like I know, regularly at Midwest Geobash, I'll see one of these tags get donated to the silent auction, and they'll go for $30 to $50 or more.
So and you've got every tag. You got books of these. Is that your retirement fund right there? Is that what that is?
Well, actually, I've got boxes of them because I've never actually taken the time to nicely organize them. So my retirement plan is for my entertainment is to go through that and be able to look back on this whole experience and appreciate it, and say, well, that was a really cool thing and a big part of my life for a while. So
Sure, yeah. Path tags are actually a physical product, obviously, but it's also a website, pathtags.com.
Yeah.
So I know, like Jesse always comments on the cool things that the website has, and I know Jesse has some things she wants to highlight. But what do you want to highlight the website that people might not know about? That's currently on the website that people may not know it is even there on Pathtags.com.
Might not know about it. Well, there's some really interesting tools there. One's your collection report. So if you're an avid collector, you can actually generate a PDF that you can download and take with you or use to help you line up trades. It does a couple of things. It lists every path tag ever made, and then it puts a check mark if you have it.
Oh, you're kidding. How many are there out of curiosity? Do you know?
As of today, there are 39,546 distinct
serious?
designs. Yeah.
Okay, 40,000, you got to give that person free. You got to give it to them.
I will make that commitment right here. The 40,000th person can have a free Pathtags starter kit. Now the 40,000th person's gonna, and that's actually, anyway, they can do the math on their own. But it started off at 5016, and then there were some cancellations in the middle. So this is only counting the actual tags. So it doesn't mean that the, what is it, 40? I'm not good at math. 49,016th tag is going to be the one. But yeah, we have it's pretty impressive. Even for me. We have 158,000 people that have taken the time to come to the website and log a path tag. So they're not all path tag owners. They're people who have found them in geocaches and stuff like that. And the previous caller mentioned, our tagline is "Who have you crossed paths with?" So we made a decision early on that we weren't going to be about trackables, right? We didn't want to be any kind of trackable competition or anything like that. I know it does get confusing sometimes, but the point of a path tag is really to be a signature item, and the original concept was you leave this in a geocache behind you so that people come behind you, they can see they crossed your path, and then when they come home with your path tag, they would log it online, and you as the path tag owner would be notified that somebody had picked it up at that geocache, and you'd be able to see who and where they're from. So like some of the maps for collections, in fact that might be broken, so don't show that, but when I make my Midwest Geobash path tag and I bring it to Geobash and I give it away to people or I trade them, you come home and you see this really cool map where everything it was picked up at Geobash, but then the spokes go back to where people are from, so you can really get a sense of like how many people you met and crossed paths with and where they are all from and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So it's a very international activity. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 40 different countries that we've delivered tags to over the years. Over 852,000 trades have been conducted online, so who knows how many in person. We have a great online trading tool, so if you don't get out to a lot of events or there's a lot of spacing between events, it's a great way to work on your collection in the meantime. And 2,900,000 tags have been logged into people's collections as of today. Wow. So it's a great hobby, and there's tons of opportunity to collect and trade these. There's so many designs. The designs are all made by people, so it's not like we're here cranking out designs day after day thinking of them. They're all individual people making designs, usually about themselves or things they love. So right. Some people collect, only path tags about dogs. Some people collect them about sailboats and lighthouses. There's just so many that you can really focus in on, your interests. And that's kind of like what made geocaching so awesome for me is I could play the game the way I wanted to. And I think the same is true with path tags. You can kind of collect and enjoy them the way it makes sense for you.
And what's kind of cool about something you created like Pathtags.com is that now as an offshoot, people are making a living. Well, they're making a living, but they're making designing path tags.
Yeah, we have quite a few design partners, we call them. And there's actually a process for any aspiring artists out there who want to get into this. There's a process in our forums on how to become one. Basically, we're just trying to make sure you have some experience designing a path tag for people, and that if we're going to send people to you in some quantity, that you'll be able to dress them well and they can find your contact details. And it's a pretty simple process, but and a design partner, like I can't draw a stick figure. That's the irony of the whole situation. I've done a few of my own designs, but a lot of them I go to design partners for, and I ask them to do it, and I'll pay them, and then they usually ask for some small amount of money, like $25 or so, and a couple of the tags that they end up designing so they can have them for their collection.
That's not bad. That's actually pretty good rate. Consider the effort. Well, at least for me, the amount of effort it goes into designing one. I've designed a couple myself and had them made, and I've designed a couple for friends as well who don't have as much. They're probably more artistic than I am, but they don't have as much computer skills as I do.
Right.
So getting back to the site, what is the subscription service?
No subscription service. I don't know. Maybe
There's no.
Oh, yeah, there is actually. Now that you mention it, I forgot about this. So just like with GeoCoin Club, we do have a Pathtags club, and it's the same idea. So you can subscribe for I think 1 to 3 or more tags a month,
Right.
And they show up in your mailbox every month. So it's a cool way to keep a supply of tags coming. And for people who are there's a lot of people that don't subscribe to that service, so that it makes them fairly collectible to other people. It's a great way to get into trading without maybe having to make your own tag.
Right. I know, Jesse, you trade. You actually go on the site and you make trades with people.
I have done a few trades.
Yeah. And how is it? Is it easy for you? I've never done it.
It's a very simple process. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing that I would recommend if you've not ever used the website before is go to the help section and watch the videos, because it will walk you through step by step how to do anything and everything that you want to do. And it's incredibly helpful. And so by watching that, yeah, it's really easy to initiate a trade and work your way through the whole process. So pretty simple.
Okay.
And if you're interested in like specific types of tags, like one that's about dachshunds, you can search on keywords in there, and you'll get see a whole list of different ones and tags that have dachshund as a keyword for it, or whatever it is, Tasmanian devil in the case of my tags. And it'll show up in there, and you can make a request for it or put it on your wish list to see if someone's willing to trade. Sometimes the owner might not have any tags left, but some other people have collected 2 or 3 of this particular tag while they were out in the field, and so they got spares, and they might be willing to trade.
Yeah, so you can directly offer and accept trades, and then we also have a feature we call wish list. So if you see a tag that maybe you don't have any to offer, or they're not offering it for trade. So some people turn them off for trade. You can still put it on your wish list, and then the owner gets 4 days to respond to that wish, and they can look at what you have in your collection for extras and pick from those, so you know that you're getting a good trade. They're getting what they want. You're getting what you had on your wish list. But then if they don't respond within 4 days because maybe they don't have any more or they're not around anymore, it goes public, and then anybody with extras of those has the opportunity to fulfill your wish. So it makes it possible for me to trade my duplicates, for instance, out to people.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. And what about the Pathcash?
So Pathcash is kind of our virtual currency. Every account has a Pathcash balance that starts at 0. You can use it as like a gift card. So some people kind of use it almost like a layaway system. So they'll buy $10 in Pathcash every paycheck, and then it accrues to the point where they've got enough to make a purchase of a starter kit. And then when you go through the buying process on our website, it will deduct from your Pathcash balance first, and then have you pay any outstanding to pay off the order. It's also can be used to exchange. So a lot of times design partners will accept Pathcash as payment. So you can put some Pathcash on your account and then transfer it to their account. A lot of the people who make Pathtags sets, they'll take Pathcash as payment. So instead of sending them the money directly, they'll have you send the Pathcash into their account. And again, they'll oftentimes accrue that to the point where they can buy additional sets and things like that. So.
Sure. Got a question in the chat room. Chad, do you want to read it? Do you see it?
Sure. Do you order extra tags from tag orders, or do you just make new ones?
Read the question before that.
How do you get all the tags for the monthly subscription?
So we basically have a pretty stable subscriber base at this point. So we can make an order. Obviously, we have to do our order 4 to 6 weeks in advance, like anyone else. So we kind of have to guess a little bit, but we've gotten pretty good at that over the last, what are we now, 14 years of doing this. So we do end up with a few extra, and we just sort of put them aside. And sometimes tags get lost in the mail to people, and we have to replace them. So we need a little bit of extra, but then once in a while, we'll just put them out at like an event that we're at and sell them and grab bags and stuff like that if we need to clear them out. But we don't have very much more than what we need. We're not taking a subscription for 500 and making 1,000. We're taking a subscription for 500 and making 525 just so we have a little extra to cover loss or anything like that.
Oh, so you do make extras. So if I order 100, you're making 110 or 100.
No, not for you, but for the Pathtag Club. So if I have 500 subscribers that month, or 500 tags worth of subscribers that month, we make a little extra. That way, if I mail them, to one person and they lose or don't get their 5 tags this month and they contact us, we have 5 tags because we only make one run of each of the monthly tags for the club.
Oh, so it's not random tags. Is it actually a club tag, or is it like
Yeah.
you just throw random tags in there?
No. This is a monthly tag, so we have a special design each month that's only for the club. No, it's not everybody's extra tags.
That's
no.
that's what I thought.
No, we don't sell your tag. So if you order a path tag, the only additional we get of those, if you order 100, we get 103. One sample goes to me, one sample goes to Rusty, one goes in that binder I talked about. We don't get any extras. We're not selling them or distributing any of your personals. Those are yours and yours only.
Good to know. Thank you, sir. That's a good way to know. We got another call here. We've got Ohio on a boat. Hello, sir.
This guy.
Oh, you guys.
Hello, Ian.
Did you?
You got a question for Mike here?
I do, yeah. So, Mike, I wanted to ask. So, we talked about the backs of the path tags before, and I was just kind of curious because I know you guys have like a give back program, and I was kind of curious how you guys decided to start that give back program and how you, kind of give money back to some organizations and things.
Yeah. So we on the back of every tag, you have a backside design, and we have a library of those. And so we actually, we started it. It's a nice way to give back to the organizations, but being totally honest, it was a promotional thing for us originally as well, because the idea was if I give the Michigan Geocaching Organization a tag back, and we basically, what a give back is if you select that backside design, you pay 10 cents a tag extra when you order your path tags, but that 10 cents per tag extra gets put into the Pathcash account of the sponsoring organization, and then they can use that to purchase tags that they in turn use for fundraising.
Okay, nice.
And so it was a way of, by knowing that it was available, people would use it and willingly pay the extra little bit of 10 cents per tag. It adds up really well for the organizations that take advantage of it. A lot of mega events do it. So Midwest Geobash does it, and they get that credit to use towards the swag that they're buying. They buy path tags for sale at the event. So that credit that people are contributing is another way for them to support the event. Sure. And it's also pretty cool. I can have something on the backside of my tag that represents my club or my favorite event or my favorite charity and that kind of stuff. So we got away from charity stuff. Just to throw it out there, why people probably wonder why we don't do more. It turned out that being charitable is really complicated. Organizations like American Red Cross and the For a Cure people, they have very strict rules about how you can use their branding for even charitable purposes, and you had to commit to like $10,000 a year minimum and things like that we just weren't in a position to do. So there's not a lot of charitable stuff, but a lot of the tag backs are in support of clubs and organizations around the country and large events like Geobash and Woodstock and Moga and things like that.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Ian. Thanks so much for calling in, buddy. We appreciate it.
Very cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Mike, this is the big question here. What is the process of creating a path tag? There's got to be a big process. It's got to be a big process. The process. Break it down for me.
Well, we try to make it as simple as possible. The hardest thing for everybody is getting your design done and ready. Which talked about that a little bit. Design partners are a way around that. Asking a friend, right? If you have an artistic friend, that can be a good. But we have people just hand draw them as well. So once your tag is done, though, you've got a design that you're happy with. Then you just come to pathtags.com. There's a link at the top for buy path tags, and it kind of leads you into the process. And there's a form with some tabs, and you have to go through each tab and answer some questions, like ask you to upload the design. So you have to upload the design to the website. then asks you how many tags you want to have, and you can choose how many you want in your order. What plating do you want? We offer 4 different platings right now: silver, copper, gold, and black nickel. It takes you through. Now we offer glow and glitter full time. We used to only offer that on an occasional basis. They're now available every day for a little additional charge. So you pick if you want a glow color or not, and etc. You just sort of move through this process, making your selections, and when you are done, it brings you to a summary page, and you review your options and the cost, and then you can submit the order, and it goes into our order queue. From that point, we send it into the production facility, and they send us back what we call a blueprint, which is a production-ready version of the art you originally submitted. So what I'm saying about design work is, like, sometimes I'll just scratch something out and throw it into the order, and you get really surprised sometimes with what comes back from the factory. They actually do a good job of cleaning it up and making it ready. Sometimes it's not so great. So at least if you're not 100% on your design, take a shot. If you don't like it, you can always resubmit something different. And we also allow you to completely cancel the order for a full refund up to the point you approve it for production. So once the blueprint's in, you have to review it and approve it. And you need to look at it for things like spelling errors and making sure the right colors are there and things like that.
Sure.
You hit the button and it goes into production. And believe it or not, even though it takes 4 to 6 weeks, most of that time is coloring. So the actual creation of the mold, the stamping, and the plating, that happens really, really fast. But, and it's hard to believe this, all path tags are hand colored. So somebody's sitting there with these little syringes that are air powered.
Come on.
Yeah, they're sitting there putting the colors in.
Is it
So
6-year-old children in China? I mean, really?
I don't think they're 6-year-olds, but they are in China. So it's there's been moments in time, like I had this idea once that I was going to make a path tag that just had a whole bunch of squares, and that if you colored the squares in, it was kind of like a pixel, thing,
Right.
and
Yeah,
you can make
yeah.
different, you can make different designs without having to make a new mold. And the idea was I can save people the setup costs, and then they can get more tags in their initial order. And the factory finally emailed me and said, "No, you can't do this anymore. There's 175 places to put color on every path tag, and you're ordering 100 at a time. That's 17,500 hand colored locations we have to get completely perfect, or you won't accept the order." And I said, okay. So that's the other thing, we have to balance, the customer's desires and design with what we can do, within the cost structure we have on the back end sometimes. But most of the time it's because of the physical process of the path tag production. It's difficult to say, set a rule of thumb, because it's a physical process dealing with, high pressure being applied to a blank. And you can kind of think about when you're crawling out on ice, right? If you're standing up on thin ice, you fall through, it breaks. But if you lay down flat, it doesn't. And it's kind of the same idea in a lot of cases with these designs. So you look at a design, you're like, man, this should work, but they're simplifying it in certain ways that I'm not 100% on. But it's because a lot of times, you would fall through the ice, figuratively speaking, if you did it a certain way.
Oh, I had many. If you look at our logo, which is in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, the Geocaching Podcast.
Yeah.
Trying to get that on a path tag. Oh,
Yeah.
My Lord, that took a
Yeah.
bunch
Yeah.
of years, and trying to.
Path tags are a quarter too, So what's interesting is people review them online at 500 pixels, which is pretty big, and when you get them, they're a quarter. They're this big,
Right. Oh,
they're
yeah. Yes.
so it's easy. Like when you're looking online, you're like, man, they should be able to make that little detail a little bit better. But yeah, there you go.
I'm putting her on the main screen right now. Just come on.
But when you get these, you look at them, you're like, man, that's really good detail, and the stuff you would be thinking about sometimes, like they're thinner than a human hair in some cases. The requests that get made. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, it turned out nice for our logo. I thought it turned out really nice. I was really really happy with it. So.
Yeah, and now we have shapes. Shapes are offline right now. We had an issue with our vendor.
I know you had shapes, and then you went away.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you about that as well.
It'll be back online sometime this week if all
Oh,
goes well.
shapes
I made a
coming back.
mistake to one of the vendors and I gave them the wrong specs to quote me on, and so I have to give them a chance to requote me on the right specs. But we'll have that back online here in the next few days.
So
It's going
shapes
a
is
little
coming
long.
back. So shapes are coming
Oh,
back.
shapes will be back. Yeah, we'll be bringing those back. And the nice thing about them is they're a little bit bigger. So where a path tag is about 0.9 inches, shape is 1.25 inches. So from a detail perspective, you have a little bit more room on a shape tag. And then the other thing you can do with the shape, obviously, is make it whatever shape you want. Where the traditional tags are all round, they're all round.
Correct.
And then you can have a double-sided shape where with path tags, the traditional path tags, you have to pick from our library of backside designs.
Correct.
With a shape tag, you have the option, obviously an additional charge, to make your own completely second side with up to 10 colors. So it's not like a one color kind of thing.
Oh,
You can
wow.
have
Wow.
up to 10 colors on either side. So you have a lot of really cool opportunity there. And there's a split in the path tag collector world where some people just aren't like I don't have time for shapes. I don't they're not path tags to me. These are path tags, the round ones with a hole in them.
Right.
Those are path tags. And that's what I've set up my life around, and my collection binders are for those, and my mailing supplies, everything are for those. So but there's a group of people that absolutely love the shape tags, and it gives them a new way to express themselves. So
That's awesome. No, absolutely. That's hey, you know what? Giving them more way than just than the one way is always a
Right.
plus and always
Right.
helps you guys out. All right, I got one more question and then we're gonna cut. Then Mike, can you stick around because we're gonna continue the show
Yeah.
after the show? Okay. So guys, this is what's gonna happen. I'm asking one more question and then we are gonna end this show and then we were gonna stop recording and then push play again for the patrons. So we're gonna have a patron only finish off this conversation we're having with Mike Trippy1976 from Pathtags.com. Mike, one more question here before we end the show.
Sure.
Give us the cost, a breakdown of the costs to create a path tag.
Yeah, it obviously varies a little bit based on your options that you select. But traditional tag, the round ones with the hole, they're $110 for a 50 tag starter kit. That includes the setup fees. So there's a mold that we have to have created and things like that. Once you've done that, it's about the same price for 100 more as a refill. The shapes are around $200 for your first 100 for the one-sided. And they're a little less than double that for two-sided because you do have to pay for a second mold on that. But then from there, I mean, it really depends on the options you choose. So if you choose a give back, that's 10 cents a tag extra. Silver plating is no charge, but other platings are a little extra. Glow is a little extra. Glitter is a little extra. So you can scale it up or down based on your budget and desire. But 110 for 50 tags will get you going with your own personal design.
Okay, and what about for creating a tag? Like set up an order using the using the upload art later option?
Yeah, so sometimes we'll have an offer, and you'll want to take advantage of it, but don't have a design right now. So we do allow you to place a placeholder order. So when you go through the ordering process, there's a button that says I'll upload my art later or something like that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And you can complete the order, and we allow you to hold that order for up to 45 days or so.
Wow.
After that, we'll start nagging you and say, hey, come on.
And you're locked into the.
You still get the special.
Wow.
So like some months we'll offer, and by the way, you'll get to this, but some months we offer like a 10% bonus tags. So people will wait for that month and they'll buy 2 or 3 tags. They don't have the designs for them yet, but they get 10% additional tags on those 3 orders. And then over the next 45 days, they'll send us in the artwork for those, and we'll get them processing for them. So you can definitely place a placeholder order and then send us the art after you've got it maybe from the design partner. That gets you to where you can get in on a special before it expires if you have a desire to do that.
Wow, very nice. That's awesome. That's very nice of you. You don't have to do that. Really, you don't have to do that. That's a nice.
We've always done that because we do a different promotion every month, and people love some and not some others. So we try and keep it to where when whatever it is that meets your needs the most, you can take advantage of it. But we also just we can't keep it open forever, so we do have to kind of nag you after 45 days or so. And
Sure.
we're pretty flexible on that. But if you reply back and say, I'm working on it, we don't cancel your order. But sometimes people place an order and then they drop off the face of the planet. We'll have somebody
Yes, of course.
like, hey, dude, you need to approve the blueprint before we can start production. It's been 112 days. That's about as long as we can let it go. So it's really an interesting, complicated process in the back end that we don't have to get into. But that's, for me, if you'd asked me, in 2006, if we'd have a company where I'm working with vendors in China and customers from all around the world, and all the interesting business aspects of it that I get to work with and deal with, and hopefully hide from the customer experience. There was never never a time in the world where you could have done this kind of business in the past. So it's
Sure.
really been fascinating experience.
Great. And I know Chad had a bone to pick with the
molds and expiration of molds after 3 years if you haven't done it. So you ever thought about seeing if hey, maybe spending an extra $5 or $10 when the mold's about ready to expire to get it to stay another year, because you're not quite ready to make that order yet?
So I'm gonna actually reveal a little secret right now.
Ooh, look at that. Okay.
There is not a giant warehouse full of molds out there. I don't think. I can't confirm this for certain, but I think one of the only computerized parts of the process at the factories is the creation of the mold, and I think they do hold on to it for a bit, but I think those get recycled pretty quickly, and so I think it's just a business arrangement from them to us that if we redo an order within a certain period of time, they will reproduce the mold at no cost for us. So I think the reality is there's not just a warehouse full of molds, and paying them a little extra to keep them around would probably not work for them. So because they're really strict about it. Like if it's 1 day over 3 years, they say no. And I know, like, if it was a physical thing, that I know I wouldn't get around to recycling stuff on the day after the third it's over. Right? So I don't know that for certain, because I've never actually flown to China and investigated it, but that's my suspicion, and I think that's one of the dirty little secrets, is there's not actually. We did actually, though, at one point, Chris Mackey, he's a very prevalent coin and Pathtag designer.
Mm-hmm.
He was really interested in having one, and I think we actually did manage to get him a mold. I'm not sure if it was a Pathtag or a coin, but the process and the concept is the same. It was crazy. It was about 60 pounds of steel.
Wow.
It was a huge block of steel. It cost so much money to ship it from China, and anyway, so because at one point we were like, well, maybe we'll let people buy them, right? If they like them, if they like their tag, maybe they'd like the molds. And we were like, no, this will never work, because it was just so. And they came and they're all grimy and covered in oil and stuff because they lubricate them for. We're like, no, this is not a good keepsake, and this is a very expensive, complicated piece of metal here. So that's the molds. I mean, if it were up to me, they'd be around forever. Honestly, I'm kind of amazed they give us a 3-year runway.
3 years is a pretty good window.
Yeah. And we do notify people, I think. Or I did at one point, and maybe I turned that off because I was concerned about the privacy aspect of it. But
I know at least in the past you did, but basically with Gmail, everything gets filtered into the promotion, and then I like do a quick glance and select all and delete. I don't really. There's too much promotion stuff in there.
And we do highlight it. If you go to my tags, you can actually see the ones that are getting close to expiration highlighted in red. But it's. I think the reality is there's not an actual vault of molds out there anywhere, and that they probably keep them around for some period of time, but I think they recycle them fairly quickly, and then they just remake them on the off chance that an order comes through. And honestly, I mean, refills are fairly common for us, but not every tag gets reordered ever, right? And it's probably maybe like a 20% reorder, I think.
Right.
So.
And then, really quickly, what is the Sherpa promotion? Because everybody keeps saying, bring back the Sherpa promotion.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an interesting data point. So Sherpa is the geocoin, right, that I was talking about earlier, and it has the tag that pops out of the middle.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
we call this a Sherpa because it carries the path tag. And
Oh,
so we've had a special in the past where we've designed a coin with a special tag in it, and then every person who orders in that month, we would take the coin and tuck it into their order when we ship the order, so they'd get
oh,
a path tag as a promotion in the
very
coin.
nice. Okay.
Sweet.
Are you gonna
So
are you gonna do it again?
I think we will have to. I mean, we've done some interesting things in the past for promotions that were more cost effective back in the day. Now I can give you a 10% tag bonus and to give a geocoin. I mean, the geocoin's costs have just gone
Sure,
up
it
so
costs
much.
money, yeah.
We used to make shirts too, so I'd like to do that again sometime. And we always wanted to do a hat, and we never got to where we could pull the trigger on a hat. But I'd love to do a hat someday too as a promotion.
Okay. Well, speaking of promotions, are you gonna give us a promotion? I've been touting this all show. Are you gonna give our listeners something for the month of August?
Nope. Of course, yeah. So for the rest of the month of August, anybody who goes to pathtags.com, places an order, and uses the code GCPC will get a 12% path tag bonus. So that's more bonus tags than we've ever given anybody. But
Tags.
yeah, bonus tags. So if you order, my math's not great, but if you order 100 tags, you'll get 112 instead of 100. And that's good for the end of August. We also have a free glow promotion running right now, and those are stackable. So if you wanted to come in, order a glow tag, you wouldn't pay for the glow, and you get a 12% tag bonus.
Sweet.
Awesome,
Look at
because
that. Nice.
My reorder has glow.
Stackable
Awesome.
is always good, man. Stackable promotions is always good.
Stackable promotions. And we do have a variety of support programs for geocaching events and stuff like that. So if you're going to have a mega or a large personal event and you want to give away a tag, get in touch with us. We have programs with discounts for you.
That's good to know as well. Awesome. All right, so guys, we're going to end the show here. Mike, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it very, very much.
Well, thanks to you guys and all your callers. This has been awesome.
Yes, we're going to continue the conversation for patrons only. So, hey, if you want to be a patron, patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast. We got a lot more to talk about with Mike. But right now, we're going to end this part of the show. So, Mike, hold on 1 second, and we'll be back to you. Hold on 1 second. We're going to close the show.
Next
Chad,
week.
thank you so much. Jesse, thank you so much. Guys, next week, thank you, Jesse. Next week's show, guys. Next week's show, extreme caching discussion. We're going to be talking about extreme geocaching. Yes, it exists. Yes, it's a real thing. We're going to be talking all about it, taking your phone calls. Hey, if you've done an extreme cache, you give us a call next week. We're going to talk about extreme caching. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be an interesting conversation because little is known about it. It's a secret little pocket of geocaching. So let's talk about extreme geocaching next week, guys. And we'll talk to you everybody next week. Chad, thank you so much. Jesse, thank you so much. Michael, thank you so much for being with us tonight. And let's close out the show. Hold on. Please join us again next week as we take your calls live every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, right here at the Geocaching Podcast. The archived video version of our podcast are available on your website or on our YouTube channel, and the audio versions are available on most of your favorite podcatchers. If you like the show, please head on over to Apple iTunes and rate, review, and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it and really helps the show when you do. If you prefer to watch the show, please subscribe to the show on YouTube, and don't forget, you got to click that little bell to get notified when we go live. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter for updates on upcoming shows and general geocaching information. And hey, if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron of the show. With tiers starting as low as $3, you will get a ton of additional information, extra videos, extra audio, only available to our patron members. Please head on over to patreon.com today and subscribe. That's patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast. Thanks once again to our sponsors, Cachly, Logwork, FTF Geocacher Magazine, the Max Odds Body Company, Practical Geocaching, and Art Ed Crafted. Please visit our sponsors, and when you make a purchase, you tell them the GCPC sent you. That's all we got this week, so we'll talk to you next week, taking your chalk and geocaching, taking your phone calls. In the meantime, be good, be safe, hug your loved ones, and we'll talk to you guys next week. We are clear. The audio is clear. All right, Mike. Thank you so much, sir. Stick around. We'll
Okay.
take a break. Let me end this podcast.
Time for a bio break.
Absolutely. Okay. Everybody who is in the chat room, thank you so much. Appreciate it for coming and listening to us tonight. Order a path tag. Go to pathtags.com. Order a path tag. You put in GCPC, you're going to get a 12% up. Right? Is that what it's called? What was it called? 12%.
Yeah.
12% more.
12% more
12%
tags.
more to the end of August, guys. We got to make Jesse. Will you push that on social media, please, if you could?
Sure.
Thank you. Put it on social.
And I just put in my order for
Look at that.
200 new tags.
Sweet.
So I think
you
I'm
use
the first one to use the GCPC promo.
Ooh,
I should get double.
Will they hold the 12% promotion for 45 days? That I don't know. I don't know. That's a good. I don't know. Unfortunately, Mike went to the bathroom. I can't have him to answer the question, so I don't know. That's a good question. I would say probably. That's my guess. So okay, everybody. Thanks, Bounce Butts. If you want to shoot me an email, I'll ask Mike when he gets back, and if you shoot me an email, I'll email you back. So there's Mike. Mike.
Hey, it is Wednesday.
Mike.
Hey.
Hey, I got a question in the chat room here before we go off the air here. If they order it now, will they still get the 12% promo for 45 days? Like, will you hold the promo?
Yeah. So if you order it today and don't have a design, you can absolutely take advantage of that promo, and then give us your art within the next 45 days. For sure.
Okay.
So I'm the first one to order with the promo GCPC.
Oh, look at Taz just. Ian, we're going to do the show without any callers or listeners, and then once the show is done, I will upload it to the Patreon feed, so you'll get it. It'll be in the Patreon feed. You'll get an email, Ian, when it's finished. Guys, if you're not a patron of the show, you're going to miss. I got more questions for Michael here. I got some more good questions. So become a patron if you'd like. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. We will talk to you guys next week. Extreme Geocaching. Thank you so much. Mike, thank you so much. And we will talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.